Yo, what is going on today, guys? I'm back here for another tier list video ranking all the EX Pokemon. I did one 2 weeks ago when the Mythical Island set first launched, like my first impressions of all the new cards and like some of the old cards now that like the meta kind of was like solved around like the release of the new pack. And now that it's been like 2.5 weeks, I feel like my opinions are like I have like more like information gathered. And I feel like I can do like a more accurate tier list. So yeah, I'm just gonna be doing one today. Yeah, so now I renamed all the tiers. So S, going from top to bottom, we have S, which is best in the game. We have A plus, which is super strong, but they either have a small weakness or they're just not as broken as the S tier. We have A minus, which is strong, but a couple of weaknesses, either just matchups or consistency of the deck. Then we have B, which is either like a card like outclassed by another EX Pokemon, or it's just like solid. It's like I don't like using the word mid, but I guess like mid, like it's not good. Or it's not like super broken, but it's not like super bad. It's just like, it's average. You could definitely win some games. Then we have C, which is like not technically garbage, but I would rather just never use you if I had the chance. So yeah, basically I'm gonna start from probably like top to bottom. By the way, when I'm talking about these EX Pokemon, I'm taking into a factor of all like the partners with the deck. Like if I'm talking about like Pikachu, I'm gonna be talking about how it's broken because it has access to like Zebstrika and all this stuff. I'm not gonna be talking about the EX Pokemon by themselves. So yeah, I think Pikachu EX currently is the best deck in the game. It still does have a pretty bad matchup in the Mewtwo. I do see some builds running Galvantula actually though that counter that, basically trapping a Pokemon in early, like an EX, while they set like maybe like they're setting up like a Mewtwo in the back, trap the one in the front, knock it out. You have like 2 points, so you get like Sabrina, something else with Galvantula, or just Pikachu easily knock it out. Obviously Zebstrika and Electabuzz snipes Magikarp really super good into the Gyarados matchup. And I mean Pikachu has been like the top two slash top one deck in the game since launch basically. And speaking of Gyarados is super broken. Greninja and Druddigon, the standardized build is just super strong. Dominates in the Mewtwo matchup. So it's kind of like a triangle, bro. And speaking of Mewtwo, obviously we all know the Mewtwo Gardevoir loops with the 150. Some builds play Mew EX, which is like solid. Some builds go for Jinx to counter Celebi. Yeah, Mewtwo's just been doing the same thing it's been doing for the whole lifespan of the game. And one more note about Gyarados, actually, before I move on to the next section, is that Gyarados 180 HP, super strong tank. Like Mewtwo can't one shot it. The only thing that can one shot it actually is either Celebi or Charizard. And 140 damage is super good. Combined with Druddigon and Greninja, you're basically doing like 160 damage. So that's just something to think about. And then I'm not gonna lie, bro, I've kind of been underrating this card on all the tier lists I've done. And I'm finally gonna put it in S. I think Executor EX is one of the best EXs in the game. It is probably the single best card for going first. I actually do think it's really broken. And literally this card can win you games. But like I've literally had games where I've soloed with Executor EX, or if I don't solo, I solo with the second one, dude. So it's like the card's just super strong, and I'm not gonna downplay it anymore. I literally think it is one of the best cards in the game. Like obviously, it's more of an early card compared to like these cards that are like late game sweepers. I guess Pikachu's like pretty early too, but going first and having execute an Executor EX is probably one of the best feelings in the game. And you can easily knock out your basic Pokemon or your opponent's basic Pokemon with a lucky heads flip, or do insane amount of damage. So that is why I'm finally going to give Executor its respect and put it in S tier. Because like you could say A plus, bro, because that's like, but I don't care. I legit think it is S tier, and this is coming from someone who's basically played this like Pokemon for the whole lifespan of the game. Like 95% of the time I'm playing online, I'm using a deck that has Executor EX. It's just super strong, and I don't need to like ramble off anymore because I feel like people who have played Executor EX or just seen the game, they know how strong the deck or like strong the card is. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. So for the final Pokemon in S tier, I'm going to put Mew EX. There's two versions of Mew EX. There is the stall variant, which you basically use with Budding Expeditioner, basically not to let your opponent get any points from knocking it out. And then there is the variant of being offensive and being super good against like Charizard and Mewtwo. Yeah, like Mew EX is just super broken in like matchups. It helps rogue decks fight like stuff like Mewtwo EX. Even like it's pretty solid in Gyarados. If you can get 40 damage on Gyarados somehow, because usually the Gyarados decks don't run potions. And obviously it also counters Charizard, which is a super big threat for a lot of like rogue decks that can't do like a high amount of damage. And yeah, I mean Mew EX is just super strong, bro. I mean, there's not really much to say about it. Like a lot of like it's probably the most splashable card in the game. And yeah, now we are going down to A plus. So for the first Pokemon in A plus, I'm going to put Moltres. Last time I had Moltres in S plus, but the thing about Moltres is why it is super strong. Gyarados is running wild in the game, and obviously Gyarados does one-shot Moltres. It also basically dominates every single fire deck in the game. So that is something like you could, I look, you could put Moltres in S just because it is an S tier support card. But being realistic, sometimes you just get those terrible games with Moltres. And you know, I'm just gonna might as well speaking of the fire types. I think Arcanine is one of the best cards in the game. It is a stage 1, really easy to like get set up with 3 energy, and it destroys stuff like Celebi, Pikachu. I mean, Executor EX, Mew, Starmie with a Giovanni. So yeah, Arcanine is just super strong. And then speaking of Charizard, Charizard is honestly I'm gonna put an A minus. And the only reasoning for Charizard being an A minus, Mew EX's existence. If Mew EX didn't exist, Charizard would still be an A plus. I think the existence of Mew really like scares off like Charizard, but like really actually puts it like that 1 tier lower on the tier list, because pure Charizard builds I think are not the best way to play fire decks. I think the best way to play Charizard is the Charizard and Arcanine build, and that's mainly because Mew EX is super strong. So if you're playing a pure Charizard build, bro, like you can never really put Charizard in, because if they have a Mew EX set up, you just kind of like in a checkmate situation. Like if you put Charizard in, knock something out, unless you already have 2 points, Mew EX just comes in and follows, bro, and knocks you out. So, and that is why I think Charizard is in the A minus instead of A plus anymore. So now I'm just gonna go in order of like how they are on the tier list. Venusaur last patch, I would say Venusaur is just solid. After actually playing around and making what I think is the most optimal Venusaur build for me personally, I think Venusaur is A minus. Has a really solid neutral matchup into Pikachu EX, Gyarados EX, and Mewtwo. And because of Mew EX actually is like a pure Charizard build is not that bad against anymore. The Arcanine Charizard build, or just like pure Arcanine, is like pretty like scared of, and also Celebi is like pretty no, actually no, speaking of Celebi, Celebi is definitely A plus. While I do think Celebi and Superior is a broken combo, the deck struggles with consistency. Everyone's just really playing Executor Celebi now instead. And without Superior, I don't think Celebi is crazy broken. Yes, it's a super strong card, but at the end of the day, like 4 or 5 coin flips is basically the same thing as a Zapdos. So if you get unlucky, dude, you could just like lose the game off of that. So I do think Celebi is so super strong, and obviously it's a basic Pokemon. But like I said, like Superior version has consistency issues. The Executor, while it is super good, it is like a coin flip deck. It's not consistent like all these decks. And they obviously like Executor is an S, but it's a coin flip, but it's a 1 energy, dude, and also it's the best card going first in the game. So next up we have Blastoise, and the thing about Blastoise, I'm a huge fan of Blastoise personally. It's one of my favorite decks in the game. 5 energy for 160 damage and 180 HP. Gyarados does 140 damage with 180 HP. Also, they play Greninja because Gyarados is only a stage 1. Blastoise is a stage 2, so it struggles with consistency, bro, unlike the Gyarados deck. And yeah, I think Blastoise is actually a super solid card. But if you're playing competitively, why would you ever run over Gyarados? Is my only point. So that's literally the only reason I'm putting it in B class. And that's the whole reason I made B like outclassed by another card. It's literally the same thing. And then we have Starmie. I'm still gonna put Starmie A plus. I think last time I put it in S. Starmie's still like theoretically super strong. Nobody just plays it because Starmie kind of has like the thing, bro. It doesn't have like a super good partner. Like yeah, you have Articuno, but I feel like maybe in the future, bro, if like a new water card comes out and like Starmie has like a super good partner, I could definitely see Starmie rising back to S plus possibly. But for right now, I do think it is super strong. It just has like a slight weakness, or it's just like I don't think it's like as broken as these cards, even though like if you think about like, yeah, it does the same damage for the same energy as Pikachu and has 10 more HP and like no retreat cost. But then you think about all the Pokemon in the Pikachu deck, such as Zipstrika, Electabuzz, Raichu, Zapdos, and then you think about Starmie, like, okay, Starmie, maybe Illuminion, Articuno. They don't compare to those cards that are played in the Pikachu deck. Therefore, I think Starmie EX is slightly worse than Pikachu in the A+. Next up, we have Articuno, which I think is a solid card. 80 damage, 3 energy, hitting the backline for 10. It's nothing crazy, bro. It's just a super solid, balanced card. There's really not much to say about it. And because I'm ranking Articuno, let me just put Lapras. 3 energy, also for 80 damage. Instead of doing the 10 to the bench Pokemon, Does heal itself 20 every time it's attack, but it has 3 retreat costs, so you can't use like a leaf and then swap out for free. You have to use a leaf in an XP or a leaf in an energy. So I think it's just a worse Articuno. That's why I'm gonna put Lapras also in outclass. It's kind of funny how all the water EXs kind of have like a better version of a water EX, but that is what it is. Then we have next is Zapdos. Zapdos is a pretty solid card. I mean, 20 damage for like 1 energy, bro, at the beginning is pretty good early game, but it's just a worse Celebi, bro. Not only that, a lot of Pikachu decks aren't really running like Zapdos that much. They still have usually like 1 Zapdos, but they're just like better electric cards now, dude. And like Zapdos is nothing crazy. I really don't think it is anything crazy. I think it's a super solid card. You're not just gonna like solo win games anymore with just Zapdos. I mean, you can, but there's just so many things that could one shot it and just do a high amount of damage nowadays. Especially like Arcanine, also Giovanni also knocks out Zapdos. So yeah, like I said, it's not bad. It's just solid. I mean, it's not doing anything like spectacular. Now we have Gengar. I'm gonna put Gengar in C-Still. I know there was like 1 Gengar that did like pretty good in like a tournament. I don't know how big the tournament was. I still don't think Gengar is that good. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, if I guess I should probably like write down would rather not use. Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just not use Gengar if possible. I'd rather just use the non-EX version. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say, man. I feel like I've talked shit about Gengar so much in my life and my channel. I try to make it work. I love Gengar, one of my favorite Pokemon. I literally also have the Santa Cruz Gengar shirt, but Gengar just sucks, dude. It's unfortunate, bro. And speaking of like rather not, honestly, I don't know why I put Wigglytuff so high last time. I think I don't even know what I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, Wigglytuff is honestly not that good. It can be good if you get like 2 million sleep turns, but like realistically, like it's not bad. It's just like I would rather run like Pidgeot EX instead of that because it's 3 energy for 80 damage also, but it has the potential for more damage. So low key, actually, I guess Wigglytuff can go in B actually because it's outclassed by Pidgeot EX, which I think is a strong card. Problem with Pidgeot EX is one is a stage 2. And not only that, but if you're playing like competitive, because all the competitive tournaments are open team sheet or open like Pokemon list, whatever. Yeah, I guess open card sheet, deck sheet, that's what it is. Open deck list. Pidgeot EX, like they get to play around it, bro, by not putting stuff on the bench. So, but our Pidgeot EX is still pretty strong. I mean, with the Pokeflute, it can do stuff. I just don't think it's as strong. I think I put it in A plus last time, but I think it's just a solid card. Definitely has some weaknesses. Or it's like a strong card, but has some weaknesses. So yeah. Then we have Marowak. Then we have Marowak EX, which I don't think is a bad card. I don't know. It's like weird though, because I feel like Marowak, bro, was one of the best EXs last like before Mythical Island. Just nobody plays anymore. I guess because it's a coin flip, has the consistency issues, and it's a stage 1. And Aerodactyl is kind of like a more consistent Marowak, doing the constant 80 damage for 2 energy instead of like possibly doing no damage. And also has the really good ability, bro, that does come up sometimes, bro, where like obviously they can evolve in the active spot. So that can be annoying. I think last time I put Aerodactyl in like A or maybe like solid or like mid. I think Aerodactyl EX is pretty strong. I actually thought it was strong, bro, but this is when I started listening to other people and everyone was talking shit about Aerodactyl. I was like, okay, maybe Aerodactyl isn't good, and it was just like my own copium. So I was like, okay, let me just put them in bad because everyone else is putting them in bad. This tier list is all my own opinions. That's why Venusaur is an A minus instead of B. Like everyone else would put it. Like, I feel like Blastoise could like low-key go in A minus also. But I really just do think low-key Blastoise can go in A minus. It is still all class, but it's not as I don't think it's as bad as Lapras and Wigglytuff. So yeah, I'm gonna put Blastoise actually in A minus. Then we have Machamp, which is I just don't know. I think it is just outclassed by all these other fighting types. I personally would not run like Machamp. Like it's not bad because like Machop and Machoke does like a pretty decent damage, bro, while you're trying to get into Machamp's like evolution or like evolve into it, but I don't know. I think if any of these, like the one, like I don't know where to put it is Machamp EX. That is like probably the one card I personally haven't played around with a lot or seen. I know there's like a Machamp Aerodactyl build, but I don't think it's that good. No, honestly, bro, I think Machamp is like best, bro. It's like solid at best. And yeah, I think that is all the tier list. Let me just look through one more time, like see if I want to change anything. No, yeah, I think that's it. I think this is my perfect tier list, bro. I don't really see much changing. I mean, like maybe Charizard could be A plus. I don't think any of these other cards I would move up to A plus. Maybe Moltres can go in S. Maybe Celebi could go in S, but like I think this is just a super solid list. I mean, maybe Executor EX could go down to A plus. I really do think it is an S tier card. And by the way, this is not ordered. By the way, I do think Pikachu EX is the best deck in the game though. But, like all this other stuff is not ordered. Like I could put like Venusaur over Zapdos. I could put Zapdos over Venusaur. It doesn't matter because like you can't really rank stuff in this game just because it's so matchup like dependent. Like it's just hard. Like the top three you can kind of rank, but anyways, I think that is the tier list. Let me know if you guys have like a different opinion, and peace out and have a lovely day.